Today we're going to take a look at something that I've been doing for many, many years, but despite the success that I had using this concept in years past, I actually find that it's better than ever, the way that the defense reacts. So by the end of the weekend, I'm going to post a video out of the single back wing tight, and I'm actually going to look at the play PA dive. And this year, when I started doing this, PA dive was the first play that I used this with, and we're going to get into that in the next video coming out either tonight, tomorrow, whenever, but by the end of the weekend. Now, a second tip that I want to give you guys is if you go into practice mode, and you know how you always go to formation, and even if you go to random plays out of the formation, they always pick man coverage like under smoke and crazy blitzes. All you have to do is go to play tight, then go over to zone coverage, and then press the top left button for random zone. This is the best way to lab, especially this year because nobody really plays man that much. So getting reps against a lot of different random zone coverages from different formations is your best bet. So here's the play PA dive. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put square on an in route. And then really it depends on what I want to do with the rest of these guys. I mean, I could put X on a flat. And then the main thing I want to do, and the concept we're going to talk about today, is by putting the running back on a wheel route and motioning him over to the side of the wide receiver. Now, in years past, like Madden 15 and earlier, you could motion wheels out to either side and have him remain on the wheel route. Now, he ends up going on a fade route, which is okay. Not a big deal at all. We're going to take advantage of this to the side of the wide receiver. And as I mentioned, I find that this concept is a lot better than it has ever been, and that is because not only are the passes accurate when you throw them quickly, they're not overthrows, they're not crazy throws, but the way the defense reacts, these are money all day long, and it's really going to force your opponent. Now, as you see right here, I'm in a 3 wide receiver, I apologize, 1 wide receiver, 3 tight ends, and 1 running back. It's a very run-heavy formation. Now, my opponent sees this, and he comes out in some sort of 4-3 defense and pinches his line, and he's got everybody stacked in the box, and he wants to stop the run. Okay, that's absolutely fine. One of the #1 things that I love to do this year is when I come out in run-heavy formations, I never run the ball. So we've turned this from a run-heavy formation to a 5 wide receiver. So now whatever it is that they're doing, trying to stop the run, at this point right here, they can expect run. And then within a half a second, 1 little motion, I set my play up, 1 motion, and now I'm in a 5 wide scenario, and I go and I quickly snap the ball. I make the read. I see that that outside defender plays the outside instead of the inside, and now it's a very, very quick, easy read right there. As you saw, his movement goes right to the outside. Now I know if I wait just a half a second, I can hit the in route. All while the user has to really, really pay attention to the 3 tight ends over here on this side, the flat routes, the corner routes, the post routes, etc. It's a very, very dangerous concept this year. The passes are always on target, and that's why I love it. Now here, obviously, this is very counterproductive. We cannot have a streak and a wheel on the same side. I mean, you can, but there's no reason to do that. So I like an in route. I like a drag route. Or if we're getting a little more advanced for certain formations, I actually really like a smoke screen as well. We'll get into that probably at a later time. And then, of course, you can do whatever it is that you want with the rest of the play. So that's out of the single back wing tight, and as I mentioned, we will get into a video by the end of the weekend for that. But as you saw earlier in the year, I posted me doing this out of the gun bunch halfback strong. As I mentioned, I've done this for years. Out of gun wide trips, the play PA wide receiver in was one of my favorite plays to do it with. 5 wide receiver, I mean, it was just absolute dynamite. I used to do it out of gun bunch. Basically, I would make a gun bunch empty. And here, this year, I love to do it out of gun bunch drum, especially the play Z spot. So what we have here is, just like before, we have a corner, a flat, and then this time we have a streak. So we have our flood concept on the right, and now we've turned it into a 5 wide, and we've got the Z spot route, which is, the Z spot route, the post route by square, cutting to the inside while triangle cuts to the outside. And if you saw all the gameplay footage for that, this is very, very lethal. In an instant, you're turning your offenses into a 5 wide, and as you can see, you can just throw those quickly to the inside if they're not user guarding it. And if they're user guarding it, then we've got the bunch on the opposite side. So obviously you're going to get a read on the defense, but this is something that you can use to really force them to soften up that box a little bit. Make it so that running the ball might end up being a little bit easier in the future, because they know that that's a possibility. Another formation, and this will be the final one, is single back ace. I absolutely love single back ace this year. I have so many gameplay clips of single back ace. I've got so many clips and so many different schemes on the go that I can never, it seems like as soon as I'm almost done one, I find something else and I'm onto that. So I apologize, but we will get to them all. So skinny post is a fantastic play. Just to run it as is as a quick snap, or for me, I really like to use the drags because I find that against cloud flats, the drags are going to do a lot better job. It lets you get like a quick look at the drags and then look at the post. So I definitely prefer that. But this is a very, very good setup against, say, just a lot of different defenses. But if they're really, have the middle linebacker in a deep blue to stop one of the post routes, which is obviously something that is being done by everybody. Here, we're going to put X on a streak to carry away the deep blue, and it's going to allow us to hit square wide open on the left while still having a read to the flat. But what it's also going to do is it's going to give us a very, very quick and easy read to R1 or circle. So if the defender really, really cuts out and guards R1, then circle is going to be very easy. If they don't, then we've just got R1 as a really nice quick pass. And as you see right there, the defenders are there, but that doesn't mean anything at all. It really means nothing at all. And the reason why it means nothing at all is because right away, I can see that he commits right away to the outside. This whole little stop here thing, it doesn't matter. Because it's a post route and I know the way that he reacts, he just commits. And to me, when I'm in a game here in real time, I just know that that becomes an easy read. And the fact that there's 3 defenders in the area doesn't bother me at all. Just click on and do the possession catch. Now, if they don't cover that area, then of course we've got R1. Now, of course, you have to be a little wary, see, there we go. We could have hit, whatchamacallit, square. We could have hit the flat. I don't know what even just happened to me right there. But it's two quick little adjustments. And you can do this to either side. That's the great part about it. So if you like to do it to the wide side of the field, you can even wait a little bit and let him stay in his flux situation there where he's wanting to cover the post. He's wanting to cover the flat. That's got to be a seam flat if my guess is correct. And that's an easy read. Again, that's just a quick throw right there. And then if you hesitate a little bit, that just becomes an easy read. And as I mentioned, the throws are on point. So we get to the 20-yard line. That's an easy 10-yard gain. Then we've also got the flat and the post over here. I mean, there's so many things that you can do out of the single back ace. I don't even want to get started until we actually get started on that formation. This is something you have to add to your arsenal, because you're going from run-heavy formations like this. Let's say if there's you're in a different formation, you quickly come out in ace, and they don't know what side the streak's on, what side the drag's on, what side whatever. So you just make this little adjustment, and now you're thrown to the drag, or, I mean, it's lethal. It turns into a 5 wide from a very run-heavy set, and I promise you, it's going to open up the run game. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I hope I see a lot more of this, because I really don't see it at all. Anytime I watch streams, nobody's ever doing this, and I understand they're worried about stopping pressure, but anytime you have 5 wide, that means that if your reads are on point, there's going to be holes in the defense anytime you're in 5 wide. And nobody's going to expect a 5 wide from a 1 running back, 2 wide receivers, and 2 tight end set. But like I said, once we make our adjustments, right, they might be thinking run right here at this point. Then in an instant, we're switching that up from now. We're in a pass play, and we can get rid of that ball really, really fast. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you next time.